everyone, it's Starlight. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you're having a lovely spring so far. And in this video, I wanted to start a new series all about plant magic, and I want to discuss common herbs like rosemary or thyme to ones that are maybe more uncommon as well, and especially the ones that might be growing in your own backyard. So that's actually what inspired the series. I've noticed the magic growing all around me these past few years, and I just wanted to briefly share what I have found growing in my backyard with you, and maybe you have it growing too, or maybe you have a different plant growing in your backyard, and if you do, feel free to share, because that's how we all learn and grow with each other, by sharing knowledge. So before we really start getting into this video, I wanted to provide a little disclaimer that I'm just sharing what I've personally learned about these plants, and I'll do my best to provide the resources down in the description in case you wanted to check them out for yourself. And I also wanted to mention I'll be sharing some of my own personal gnosis. So what I've noticed, observed, felt, or experienced about the plants, and I'll make that apparent when it's my own gnosis. And I want to dive into identifying the plant as well as its medicinal and magical uses. So in regards to medicinal uses, I wanted to say another disclaimer that I don't really feel comfortable talking about them all that much, so I'm just going to go over briefly what I've learned. I'm not a qualified professional, and that's why I kind of feel uneasy treading into that territory. So if you want to use the plant in a medicinal way, please consult your personal care provider or a medical trained professional. I am not a doctor, so I can't tell you what to do in that regards. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so the serious stuff is out of the way. I feel a lot better now. So the main focus for this particular video is going to be on wild violet. So let's flip you over so you can get a closer look at her. Okay, and we're back, and I feel like I need to make yet another disclaimer because there's something I feel like I really need to mention. So I'm legally blind. I prefer the term visually impaired, but I like to make sure that I have the correct plant in question before I start working with it in any way or even touching it, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. So I like to verify this through my own research, making sure that the anatomy of the plant is correct, as well as doubly making sure with someone who is fully sight capable. That way I have extra verification, if that makes sense, because some plants tend to look a lot alike, and it can be hard for someone like me to tell the difference unless you're really familiar with them. So let's finally get into it and meet the star of the show, shall we? So this is wild violet. The Latin name for it is Viola sororia, not to be confused with sweet violet, also known as Queen Charlotte or Viola odorata. One primary way you can tell the difference between them is that sweet violet has a faint, sweet floral smell. I'm actually trying to grow some and it's not going so well, but yeah, this is wild violet. Some of the folk names for this plant include heart's ease, which we'll get into later, jump up, wild pansy, hens and roosters, and my favorite, kiss me at the gate. So wild violets thrive in partial shade, but they can also live in sunny conditions, and the hotter it is, the less tolerable they'll get to it. I notice they can tolerate about like 80 degrees, but they definitely prefer chillier air. let's get into some ways that you can ID this plant. And we'll start with a leaf. Sorry for the shaky hands. So as you can see, it's a heart-shaped leaf, and it has toothed edges. So that's a violet leaf. Okay, so now let's ID the flower, and it grows on a stem like this. And what I've noticed about the wild violets in my yard is that the stem kind of starts to droop closer to the flower. And so the flower itself has 5 petals and a stamen in the middle. And they range in color from like a little bit deeper to lighter than this. So now let's go briefly into its medicinal properties. And I want to say again, if you intend on using this medicinally, please consult a medical professional. I am not a medical professional. So through my research, it said that wild violet is an antioxidant containing vitamin C and vitamin A. It's also an anti-inflammatory as well as a blood cleanser. It's also used to treat coughs. So now let's talk about its magical correspondences. Its planet is Venus, and the element is water, and the gender is feminine. From what I've noticed through my own personal gnosis is that violet has a really gentle energy. It's very soothing, but that's just what I've personally felt. And its magical properties include love, protection, healing, good luck, money, peace, and to ease heartbreak. So through my own personal experience of working with this beautiful plant ally, the magical properties that I personally associate with this herb include friendship and happiness. Again, that's just my own personal gnosis, and if you don't feel that way, that's totally fine. Gonna be in the video? Thanks for being here with me and having a little chat about wild violets. I'm really excited to continue the series, so if you have a plant or an herb that you would like to see, feel free to pop it down in the comments and I'll do my best to cover it. I'm hoping to do a video about violet syrup, so if that's something you want to see, I'll do my best to share and record the process. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I hope to see you really soon. Take care, blessed be, and we'll see you later. Bye. Say bye, Lily. Say bye. Say bye. Wave a little paw.